morning. This is Mrradillo back with another episode of Mrradillo's World. So this episode is going to be a little bit interesting because I recorded a video prior about the Netflix Warner Brothers deal, and I was pretty like pro Netflix. And then I recorded it, and then I was reacting to some YouTube videos, and I forgot to put the audio in, so I was like, oh, I can't really use this for those videos, right? And it was just me just staring. So, but then I started like hearing more information about the Netflix and Warner Brothers deal and seeing all the reactions, and I kind of wanted to revisit that, and I'll include some of my old footage of how I was pro this. But then I started like hearing, because I'm not like super sad about like people are all freaking out because movies are gonna die. I had an argument with my buddies, and we were like going at it because he was like, "You don't stand for nothing. You just stand for blood. You just want the world to burn." And I was like, these theaters have gotten themselves in these predicaments because they are consistently raising prices. It's also the movie industry because they have been consistently giving themselves pats on the back. The budgets have been inflating to most unreal expectations. And then they've been just making garbage quality movies. And they're wondering why people don't want to come back to the movies. Now, it's not everyone, right? Because there's been some crazy hits like Top Gun Maverick, and F1. Loved those two movies. Those are really good. And there's been some other movies that I've really liked. I can't really name them off the top of my head. But we've seen a good amount. How to Train Your Dragon 4. 1. It's the remake kind of thing. I've watched some other ones, but I can't remember them at this current moment off the top of my head. But I kind of want to revisit that. But first, let's see my initial reaction right here. This one's kind of just a quick one that I wanted to jump on and talk about. The news of the Netflix buying Warner Brothers. I kind of wanted to just talk about that and just give you some of my thoughts. Maybe watch some reactions from movie people, see how they're freaking out about it. But it was kind of interesting. Immediately once the news happened, there was another release of news, and I'll try to find that article. But it was like Netflix is going to shorten the release windows of the movie theaters, so it's kind of makes sense because their model is the streaming. And there was also these reports of Christopher Nolan, Steven Spielberg, and a bunch of major directors going to visit Netflix because they have contracts with Warner Brothers. But I wanted to kind of look at what exactly properties Warner Brothers owns, just to kind of look and kind of figure that out compared to what Netflix is now going to acquire. Because, like, thinking about this major implications, is Netflix acquiring, and let's look at those numbers. Netflix is acquiring Warner Brothers for $82.7 billion, which is around $27.75 per Warner Brothers share. And then the equity value is about $72 billion. But I was thinking about Netflix, and most of you guys remember, Netflix started as a game changer. Not only did it take out Blockbuster and DVD rentals because you could make your queue of movies and you could keep them for as long as you want for a low monthly rate, and they would send you DVDs. And I remember I was in high school, and we played the stock game because streaming wasn't really a thing, but they started like bringing that out. And they were working towards that. Blockbuster was trying to do it, but they got mixed up with Enron, and like they weren't able to execute that. But I remember I remember DVDs and vividly going to video stores to go rent movies, and just such a different world we are at now. And now Netflix, who was once looked at by Blockbuster by like nothing, right? Interrupted that business, took out the king of Blockbuster, took up their whole video, and then switched it to streaming. So now they were innovators in the streaming game, right? And now we have multiple different streaming channels, and we're fixing to have some mergers, and it's probably going to go back to cable at some point. But I just thinking about this, like, I like Netflix. I really do. I've always liked Netflix. I've had it since I've given them so much money. I've had it since the DVD queue. And then once we went to streaming, I was like early on in that one. And I remember I played a stock game and in high school, and they gave me money, and Netflix I bought full force. I didn't do that in real life because I'm a loser and wasn't thinking about it. But then that blew up. Now there's this major company, and now they're legitimately buying Warner Brothers, an institution in the movie industry. And here are some of Warner Brothers, and I'm going to go ahead and throw my screen up as well. Here are some Warner Brothers actual brands, right? So they have DC Studios, which is kind of nuts. Like Netflix is going to open up theme parks at some point. They are going to be the new Disney, and you can just see that's their trajectory where they're going. As soon as these deals with DC and all those, like I swear they are going to start opening their own like Universal Studios and Disney. Like they are going to that level now with Warner Brothers because they have all the Looney Tunes, right? The Warner Brothers television with all the different movies. They have Comedy Central, Fandango. They own. Holy crap! They own Turner Broadcasting System. I don't know. I think it's TNT, right? TNT, yes. Cartoon Network, Turner Entertainment. New Line Cinema, they are a major movie producer now. Like, if this deal goes through, which I don't know if it will or not, it's interesting. It seems like and I'm sorry, I'm stumbling through this, but it seems like there's always like some ticky tack things that they can kind of push it at. Maybe they'll make them split it up into multiple different factions. Who knows? But it seems like we're allowing companies to get truly big and kind of be able to compete with each other in this level. But it's just kind of, they own TLC, they own Warner Brother Animation, they own, like it's so crazy how many assets they specifically own, man. And this is even scratching the surface, right? They have 10 times more. They own the whole Cartoon Network like fleet like it's a bunch of trucks like oh, but no, I'm actually like, I'm not mad at Netflix. Yes, people are kind of talking about how the price is going to increase, and that's probably true, right? Because now they have to justify and pay for all these things. But like, this was such a solid move by them. Like, they're in the content game. Now they own actual properties, and now the merchandising alone for all of these, they can just make their nut. Like legit business mover. But let's read this article. So this is a release from them specifically of Netflix. December 5th, today Netflix Inc., the company and Warner Brothers Discovery Inc. Announced that they have entered a definitive agreement under which Netflix will acquire Warner Brothers, including its film and television studios, HBO Max and HBO. Kind of nuts that Netflix is now like, was first in the streaming. Now it is going to be a major Hollywood studios, and they already have been, right? But they haven't been they've been getting disrespect as far as from like the Oscars and the industry and things of that nature. But now, if this goes through with Warner Brothers, they have the Oscar history because now they own Warner Brothers, right? They own this entire catalog. I think this is a solid investment and only leads to future growth and future profits. And like, good for them. Like they're killing it, man. They are killing it. One thing with Netflix though, I hate how like political they get at times. Like they always jump into, there's so much woke stuff on there too, and I just think they make a lot of dumb decisions too with their content. But Warner Brothers hasn't been doing much anyway. It's just kind of, Hollywood is kind of a cesspool at times of this stuff. And with this, when it all comes said and done, is like, do we need long movie? Like, I guess coming from like the attention span of the public, are long theatrical releases even viable anymore? You know what I mean? Because like, I think Netflix, they will pay for a project, push it out for a movie theater release. But then like, the reason Netflix model kind of works is they keep it on the streaming and are getting money on a monthly basis from the actual content that they produce, right? And the content that they're leasing. And now you think about it, they probably may be more profitable as a company because now they're getting a lot of this catalog from Warner Brothers. So who knows how much contracts they actually had for leasing some of this product, right? For however period of time it is, right? But now they would own it, right? And they would have it on their specific platform. So they could probably get rid of some of the other agreements they have with other studios. I mean, they may still have those just to continue to get as much possible because that's the name of the game they're in. Content. We want to produce as much content. If one thing hits, we're going to push that. If another thing hits, everything's greenlit so that we can have a wide casting net. And now they don't run as like I guess series or movies as long. Movies kind of stay there a little bit longer, but as far as series, like some of them will get 3 seasons, one of them will get 1. It'll just kind of depend on the reaction of the public, which I don't know. I just like Netflix is a good company as far as business wise. They're smart. They do stupid stuff all the time about like they get into like the culture wars and things of that nature, and they're kind of leaning more of on a liberal side, which is fine. Like to each his own. For me, it's kind of like, meh, I'm not going to watch that. But from this standpoint, I don't see why it would be that big of a deal. But anyways, this is my thoughts on the Netflix Warner Brothers merger. What do you guys think? I'm curious to know your thoughts. Maybe not from a business side, maybe from a consumer side. Do you think this will have negative impacts? Like for me, I'm only thinking about positives, but maybe I'm overlooking something tremendously. Like maybe they just eliminate movie theaters completely. And I love the movies. I don't know if that's the smart move here. Which I don't think movie theaters ever go away completely. They may shift and be something different, but who knows? And maybe Netflix launches their own cable service. You know what I mean? They basically that's literally what they have with no commercials, right? It's because you're paying $20 a month, $13 a month, I don't even know, $10 a month, every single month across the globe because they have so many different users, so many different languages, and it's just a consistent money cycle. Let's look at the Netflix revenue, Netflix profits over the profit margin over the years. Okay, so this is annual net income of just the last 3 years. So in 2021, they had 5.1 billion. There was a dip in 2022 of 4.5. Then they raised it again to 5.4. 2024 is 8.7. So like these guys are making billions a year. And it's just because their model is just a consistent subscription. Like, right? You don't ever pay it. It's just the cable game. But it's a better cable because people seem to like not having those commercials. And they're starting to add a little bit more ads too at the beginning. And again, like I know what I said, but I'm kind of really editing this, right? So like I don't know exactly what I'm said just right there. So I don't know if I'm going to react to it properly. But then I started noticing. Here's where I think's changed for me. I started noticing how political this was. I wasn't looking at it from a political standpoint, which makes sense if you really think about the large aspect of these companies, because what these companies probably are, what these media entertainment companies are propaganda machines to communicate certain ideas, certain worldviews. And that's something that I just wasn't thinking about when I first did this movie. And then I started realizing like Obama's on the Netflix board. And I was like, wow, I didn't realize how political. And it's no wonder the content that we've been getting as of late has been so ultra liberal. It makes sense. And then people on the left are mad because Paramount is a right wing operation. Like people are just like insane. Like people are insane. It's crazy, but I didn't realize like both right and left, they are creating propaganda in order to capture how you're thinking, in order to train your kids how you're thinking, right? And so from that aspect, I started to set back, and once I found out it was like political, because I'm not pro like woke agenda at all. Obviously, I'm a Christian, so I hold Christian values, right? And that's a shock Sorry. So for me, and that's not always necessarily conservative, but it seems to be more conservative in today's world because it seems like anything woke is usually left. But then there are some crazy extremes on the right too, and I try to be I try to be objective in every situation. Although my worldview is Christian, so the Bible reigns supreme, right? Um, but so when I started thinking about that, I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm on board with Netflix acquiring Warner Brothers, not because of the business, but from a business standpoint, I think that is the best solution for Netflix. Like as far as their business, like they are disruptors. That's what they've done their entire company's existence. That's how they started. They started by disrupting Blockbuster. Then they killed Blockbuster with streaming, and they become the dominant person in streaming. And then they've been disrupting, and they will disrupt, it sounds like, if they get this. They're going to disrupt how movies occur. They'll change the window of release schedule, right? And I love movies. This isn't to me to say that, like, I want movies to change, but these movies have kind of been, these theaters too, they're charging you so much money to go to the movies now. If you're going to the movies, you're going to drop at least $80. And that's a crazy thought process when you're thinking about like this medium, right? And so like, would I rather watch a movie on Netflix? Most of the time, yes. Right? Because I don't have to spend $50. I've already spent the 20 for the entire month. Right? So yes, consumer habits have changed, but the movie theater experience is still awesome. Right? So like I love watching movies on the theater. I love the theater experience. But things change, right? You can't you can't operate the same way forever. And that's what we were kind of talking about. My buddy was like, "I'm a traditionalist, and you just want to see the world burn." And I just like innovation. I like new things. I like when businesses challenge the mold, right? But I do still love going to the movies. I love the movie experience. But if I have to drop $100 to go watch a movie, and you don't have to, right? You can go to the movie for $30 because it's $15 a ticket, right? And you can not get drinks, you cannot get popcorn, you cannot get any candy. You don't have to get like a hot dog, right? And again, like so you don't have to spend that money. You can spend a minimum of $30. But that's $30 per movie, right? Because it's not just me, it's me and my wife, right? And then think about when we have kids, it's going to be 15, 15, 15. You know what I mean? So it's like it's going to be $45 if it's just me, my wife, and my son. My son is not officially here yet, but he will be. But I just thinking about that, and it's an experience. And that's kind of why, like, people wait till these big budget movies, these big blockbusters to go to the movie, because it's just an experience, and it's an expensive experience, right? Whereas if I go to Netflix and that's why a lot of these smaller movies are kind of on the streaming models, is because like I'm already paying this much a month, right? So it makes sense to why I want to watch it at home with my family, right? Like it just makes sense from an economic standpoint, right? But that's the thing too. It's like this situation, this aspect of the streaming wars, and it seems like Netflix will kind of be the victor, but then hold on, right? And so this is kind of the new update. Warner Brothers, Paramount just put in a bid, a hostile takeover bid at $30 a share at $108 billion, right? Because Netflix initially had an offer of like $89 million with $5 billion in breakup fee, right? So they put this in an account saying, hey, if the deal doesn't go through, if there's regulatory hurdles, you guys get this $5 billion. Crazy, right? But then Paramount's been like bidding, and so now they're doing a hostile takeover, saying that Warner Brothers hasn't actually been paying attention to their deal. So they went directly to the shareholders and are like, hey, look at this deal. It's better for you. And now Warner Brothers board has a fiduciary responsibility to go ahead and look at that offer. Pretty exciting. But I guess I was just more philosophical, getting philosophical. Excuse me. I'm just saying words. I was getting more philosophical on like different thoughts on I don't know how everything turns political, right? I was looking at from a pure business standpoint, and from Netflix perspective, like this makes sense. They're a disruptor. Their goal now is to disrupt the movie industry. And I understand why directors and actors and writers are all like, hey, but in my opinion, like you guys have created the world you're in. You've been creating not so great content, right? You've pushed half your audience away because you decided to go in a particular political lane. And if that's your goal, that's your thing, like go do it, right? But you can't be mad at people not wanting to go to the movies because they don't want to spend a certain amount of money for a movie that is literally just a propaganda of a specific ideal, right? Like I love fantasy, right? Like I love Lord of the Rings. Um, I love Narnia, and even that, like thinking about it, like, and this is also a red flag. Netflix is recreating The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Narnia, and it's going to be completely different. And they're gonna, and it's what's good it's going to be. We all know, and even Amazon with the Lord of the Rings, like so we understand. Like these people are keep creating these content. And so for me, I'm like, I'm not really sad for the writers and directors. I do like movies, but they're just being whiny babies, honestly. Like, welcome to the real world where life kind of sucks at times. You know what I mean? That's just life. Like, things change. Like, you can't control how things change. But anyway, so this is kind of a new development with Paramount taking it. And again, I was on board with the Netflix thing. But now, like, I'm having real reservations because I didn't realize, like, this was a political struggle between left and right. And honestly, that makes me sad, right? Because I was thinking about it from, like, movies and content and things of that nature. And it's just like, I guess I was looking at it very shallow, but it's much more complex and deep. So, I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know what the difference will be. But I'm excited to watch this progress, and I hope that you guys will stay tuned with me, and then we are going to go ahead and kind of react how this season goes and see what plays out. Because right now, Netflix and Warner Brothers aren't a negotiating deal specifically. Like they have exclusive rights to negotiate, but now Paramount went over the top of them directly to the shareholders saying, hey, this deal is better financially. Now the board is forced to specifically have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders to make the most profit. So it got spicy, and I'm curious because there's been talks to the White House. It's crazy how this thing. And then my buddy was also talking about how Netflix will be a monopoly. I don't see the monopoly aspect. As someone could explain it, because maybe I'm dense. But to me, it's like they're streaming. They'll be the number one streamer, but yet there still is cable. Yes, cable is a dying medium, but I don't know if it dies. I think it actually could come back because people are tired of paying absorbent amount of streaming costs for 7 different streaming services. So I think it may actually just come back to cable and we just be like, hey, we don't want to do streaming anymore. Because there's also this push too by Gen Z and Gen Alpha. Sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that. That was weird. To actually have more physical media. Like they're longing for millennial like aspects. They're having iPads and digital cameras. And they're printing pictures. And so they're longing for physical media. So I think there's a world too where physical media makes a comeback. But it would be the companies having to like actually fulfill those needs because maybe they like the streaming because it's less cost for them in the long run. Whereas digital media costs more to actually produce on top of what you already spent to make the product. So I don't know. But I was just thinking about this. I wanted to jump on, and I'm going to probably put this episode out today. I may add some more at the back end when I get home from work. But hey, this is me, and I am signing off.